Action economy. Okay, so action economy is great, and I really want to focus on this much more in depth in future videos. The idea of I've got my move action, I've got my standard action, my attack action, whatever you want to call it. I've got my bonus action, I've got my reaction. Those are great. I love them. It's not new, so to speak, but it's definitely brought to a place where I think it can be used in a way where it's being presented or packaged. I don't know what it was, but the way that they brought this system out, it just stood out to me like not a sore thumb, but like a glorious opportunity, a golden halo. And I think that the base class, the level 1 through 20 classes, they need diverse options to mechanize these actions in a way that's specific and thematic to that class. You think about the cunning action on a rogue. Of course, we're thinking about rogues. The cunning action on a rogue, perfect. It's beautiful. It's exactly what I want to see out of a bonus action. I think, and we will definitely go into this more, but when we get into the monk and what's wrong with the monk, I think that a lot of your martial arts features and some of your key features could just be bonus actions, or they could be bonus actions that are tied to martial arts, and martial arts uses your bonus action. I mean, there's just so much stuff we can open by doing that, by taking that approach, by taking each one of these individual actions, like move, attack, bonus, and reaction, and then put these class styles into those, put these features, bake these features into these actions so that every time I come across a combat scenario, I can keep it fun and interesting as a player by activating different things in different rounds or as they're needed situationally. And the things that I don't need to use, and then whatever there. It's a way to keep my options fresh. It's a way to not tax the class resources. Like again, the monk, and the key. Everyone hates that, and I understand. I hear you. You're 100% right to notice that. Um, but if we invest these into these different action types, I think that this will address so many issues in a good way, a very positive way, in a way that can be built upon. And that's the other problem that we have is like they put all these splat material out, they put all these new classes, all these new races, all these new subclasses, feats, spells, everything, and they never address what was fundamentally broken. We're doing that now, but that's okay. So I know this isn't technically action economy, but didn't really have another place to put it, so I kind of lumped it together. Advantage, disadvantage, and inspiration. So what is advantage? Yay, I get to roll another d20. And then I rolled a one. Like, oh, that sucks. But you know what? It's not a big deal. Well, what if I use my inspiration? Like, oh, yay, I get to roll another d20. And then I roll a one. Well, wait, isn't inspiration supposed to be special? Isn't it supposed to be a reward of some sort? Well, first off, you don't have a lot of mechanics that really explain how we're going to use inspiration or how we're going to grant it, other than I think what I've noticed is everybody gets one once per session. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. When a player does something like amazing, awesome, maybe they get another one. Maybe they can expend the use of it, whatever it is. Um, we'll break that down a second. But first off, advantage, disadvantage. So situational D20. The problem I have with this is it does not honor the potential of a poor roll. And that's fine. It was designed to do that. However, I think between giving the player something that's niche and fun and cool and rewarding the fact that you just whiffed that check, the balance is over here and none of this is honored. So what I propose is that we're going to replace the use of a D20 with a D6. Essentially, this is going to become like Bardic Inspiration. The other problem with advantage and disadvantage is they don't stack. Why don't they stack? I mean, if I have 3 or 4 different sources of advantage and one disadvantage, they all just wash. I'm not buying that, because to me, as a game master and as a player, these different sources of advantage, they are the forces of teamwork. They're the forces of good or poor choices of exploring the environment, using the environment to my advantage, or disadvantage. There are multiple factors, which is why each one is granted by a different source. Why shouldn't they stack? And if it's a D6 that's going to modify my roll, that's going to change the teamwork balance mechanics and the fun, in my opinion, just by an exponent. It's going to be awesome. So let's just pull it in there. Advantage and disadvantage. It's now a D6 and it stacks. Get it from multiple sources. Work on it. It's going to replace the aid and other action and the help action. So now when I do one of those, I'm going to be adding a D6 to your pool. It's going to change the defense action. I don't have a problem with that. Um, it's also, and as we mentioned, it's stackable with guidance and bardic inspiration because it's basically just an additional extension to that. And we're going to have a little bit more on that later, but for right now, there's advantage and disadvantage. In a nutshell, D6, stackable. Go to town, have fun with it. Inspiration. So, why is inspiration a special use of advantage? That's not special. I'm sorry, especially when you roll a one. I remember there was a situation I was in a campaign, and this was out of combat. There was nothing else going on. We saved this town from uh, an owl bear that was rampaging and trying to destroy them. And I took the remains of this owl bear, and for some reason, I had skills in taxidermy because I figured, yeah, why not? I'd never seen it used, so I'm going to use it. So I want to build them a statue based off of stuffed owl bear. And I rolled my tool check, and I got a one. I was sad. I'm like, you know what? This is important to me. This is a very special moment for my character. It's a special moment for the NPCs. I'm going to use my inspiration, and I rolled another one, and my heart sunk, and I was in a bad mood for the rest of the session. I didn't take it out on anybody, but like I just felt like that really special moment to me and my character, it just wasn't honored in any way, shape, or form through this whimsical uh, inspiration. It's an extra D20 that didn't do me anything. So from that, I figured, you know what I'd like to do? I would like to make inspiration a PC version of legendary resistance. Basically, rogues get evasion and all that. So the precedence is not unheard of. You use this one time, once per session, and of course, whatever special other special reasons you might want to give it to them. You use your inspiration to as a legendary, you succeed on your roll and you take no ill effect. Bam, done. That's easy. Well, alternatively, if you don't want to use it as a legendary resistance, you automatically critically succeed on an attack or a skill roll. Bam, too easy. We're done and we're moving on. That's advantage, disadvantage, and inspiration in the bag. They all look different. They all honor where they came from, but we're going to use it in new, fun ways and we're going to revitalize our old PHP experience. So everything's great. Now we go back up and we were looking at one of the other things we were talking about is abilities. So the section here is unbalanced abilities and character proficiencies. God stats. What are they? Without me saying anything, you've already got an idea of what it is. And it's probably Dex, it's probably Charisma. And if it isn't one of those two, it's because you like playing the non-bard, non-warlock casters, and you're thinking, well, intelligence because it gives me knowledge of everything, or wisdom because the greatest skill in the game, perception, is found in wisdom. And you're not wrong. What you didn't think about was strength. Well, wait a minute, that's not fair. Like you can have a strong character, like sure, you can have them, but that's not a god stat. Like Dex and Charisma are your god stats, with wisdom being a close second. Strength is just not in the running. Um, and then the other one that you're just not even considering at all is Constitution. And there's so much stuff that fuels off of Constitution, but none of them are skills. Who thought that up? We talk about consistent, coherent design. Strength and Constitution just got the short ends of this sticks. It's okay. I have an answer for that. Now, prepare yourself for the ultimate blasphemy. No Constitution. I know, it's been here since the beginning almost. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we go back to the first edition or look up the rules for chainmail, we'll find a reference to Constitution in there. Constitution has been there for as long as I've been playing in every single D20 system that I've played. Uh, yeah, it's so much ingrained to be part of this system. We stop questioning why it's there in the first place. What is Constitution for us? Constitution modifies our hit points. It gives a barbarian as unarmored defense. Class saving throws. It's a big saving throw. Death saves. Like all these things are what keys off a Constitution. Why can't they key off a strength? I don't know. Why hasn't anybody ever asked this question before? Because I'll tell you this: when you're looking at the skills as they, or I'm sorry, the abilities as they are, and you are putting them into the idea of I'm taking an approach, you can easily understand I am taking the strong approach, I am taking the fast approach, the intelligent, the wise, the charismatic. I can take that type of approach and I can shoehorn that onto a skill. And I like the way that Fifth Edition does that. They're like, here's your skill, and if there's a way that you can use a different ability modifier on top of this skill, go for it instead of them just being intricately married. What you can't do, and again, prove me wrong, tell me a Constitution approach. Like you can tell me you're tough, you can describe yourself as tough, but when you go to make an approach with a skill, describe to me how you're going to pick locks constitutionally. Describe me how you're going to perceive your environment constitutionally. Like I got nothing. Yeah, and I kind of have a hard time coming up with a strength-based approach. But at least in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, I like kind of bash my way through this, using my skill, but instead of this finesse modifier, like I want to use my thieves tool. Like, I'm trying, but I'm just not getting it. And I'm just gonna like force those things. Maybe I'll snap my tool, but I'm gonna succeed because I can use my strength on that tool check. I really can't think of a way to do it with the Constitution. So we're just going to get rid of Constitution, but we have to replace it with something because I like the balance of the six stats. So luck, who would have thought? Now luck is very much on brand with the idea of adventuring, the idea of fantasy genre, and the idea of taking a lucky approach with my different skills. So if we've turned strength into strength and constitution, we haven't quite made it a god stat, but we have dethroned dex and charisma just a bit. And we've created this odd thing, this luck, which can work with skills, but what does it do by itself? Well, what happens if you have a positive modifier in luck? I say you get advantage. You can call it. It's like your own personal limited bardic inspiration. What if you have a negative modifier? Now you've taken that bardic inspiration and you've given it to the GM to use against you. Now, does this refresh on a short rest? Is this an encounter base? I don't know. You might find the best answer for that. But knowing that this is a resource that you have intentionally built into your character to create a lucky or an unlucky character, and then giving the keys to that over to your DM to play with, especially if you're an unlucky character. This is thematic. This is fun. This is interesting. This is intriguing. This breathes life into old bones. Let's go for it. So what do you do with this luck? Okay, so we can still make it a saving throw, is we're going to use the luck modifier. Could be used in place of any other ability save. So it is still possible to build a super, I don't want to use the word because it's cursing, but there is a wonder luck. We'll say that wonder luck, a wonder luck bard or a wonder luck character. Yeah, so they can use this and like I want to invest heavily into my luck stat and all of these skills, these saving throws that I do not have proficiency in. I would rather use my luck modifier. We can also use our luck modifier on death saves. And since we're rolling our death saves anyway, there's already a measure of luck. Now we're just leaning into that theme. So luck for death saving throws instead of our Constitution modifier. How's that look on our racial bonuses? Dwarves are known for their Constitution bonus, and again, I'm just going off of the player's handbook. What if we made it a +2 luck to be, or give them a +2 strength, and for the mountain dwarf, we give them a +2 luck and call it Moradin's blessing. That works for me. Halflings. Okay, so halflings, the stout halfling, stout heart halfling, whatever it was, he gets a +1 to his con. Why? Don't know. What if we give him a +1 to luck? That actually makes sense. Like we just made a leprechaun. Gnomes, maybe you don't like a halfling and leprechaun. How about a gnome leprechaun? They get a +1 to con. The rock gnome, why? Like, what is it? Is it because they're made of rock? I don't know. I've never understood that. Again, gnomes have had that bonus to Constitution since the beginning of time. Change it to a +1 luck. That's thematic, very Fey-like. I dig it. Half orcs. Half orcs get a +1 to luck instead of a +1 to conversation. How do you justify that? Lucky enough to be a playable race in the player's handbook. There. I don't know. Have fun with it. It's thematic. It works. I promise you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the big things. So um that's how I would approach D&D fundamentally different. That's how I do it in my games. I like to see other people try it, add to it, modify it, give me feedback and comments on it. What I want to do from this point is, like I said, I want to revisit each class in the player's handbook. I don't have that kind of time to go through everything that's ever been written. I want to go through each one of the classes and I want to take them apart, and I want to make sure that all of the actions make sense and take advantage of all of the actions. Sorry. I want to make sure that all the class features take advantage of all the different action types in a fun and thematic way to increase, the versatility and play style at the table. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each class as I do it. I'm going to create a multi-class subclass for them. So you can take, like, barbarians is where I'm going to start out. I'll take the barbarian, turn him into a multi-class. So when I'm playing my rogue, I can play a barbarian rogue or also a street thug. Hey, that works. Yeah, let's see more of that stuff that works. Coming up with these ideas, I think it's going to open up the idea that some of these, again, the idea will be to build into primary, secondary, and tertiary options, with that diversity of build. So that's what I got. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like it, and I hope you come back for more. Like, comment, share, all that stuff. I'm very new to posting, streaming. Yeah. I don't have much of a presence, and that has bit me in the butt a lot. I've been doing this for years, but it's been to a very small audience. I can certainly use the exposure. If you like what I got, if you don't like it, just tell me you don't like it. Like my video, tell me you don't like it, and then we'll move forward from there. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. I do stuff like this all the time. If there's something you want to talk about, if you want to see me design something for a completely different system, that's fine. I've taken everything that I've learned from 5th edition, Shadowrun, video games, you name it, Fate, like, oh my gosh, every video game, every role-playing game I've ever played, I take it apart, take the stuff I like, and I've actually designed my own system. You heard me say the words earlier, hero experience. That's a very important design philosophy to me, and I named my own system after it. So if you like the way I think, if you like the way I work, I know you don't like the way that I present because I don't even like that. I'm pretty awkward at this. You might want to check out the game that I designed from the ground up. Anyway, Patreon link will be in there. Thanks for showing, thanks for sharing, and we'll see you next time. Take care.